fear of change and that fear of something new. You know, we're kind of around the time of year when people do their resolutions,
right?
Their commitments for the new year. And what I love is the amount of commitments that lay in the wreckage of the previous year. Because obviously the commitment to, I don't know, lose weight and be fit and whatever, that's the most common.
Right.
And so many people just crap all over that and don't ever do anything. Because there's always something easier, better, or important to do than your commitment to health and fitness.
Right.
But what about other things? I mean, what if someone had a commitment to let go of all fear and ignorance and embrace adventure in the year 2010? What if that was a commitment? Because it's not like lose weight or get fit, and then at the end of 2010, when someone says, hey, I thought you said you were going to lose weight, and you say, well, I never said how much weight.
I lost 15 ounces.
I lost 15 ounces.
And I kept my word.
Well, I didn't say I would keep the weight off. Sure, I lost 15 pounds in March, but I gained 35 pounds in November. But what if our commitments, our resolutions were related to letting go of the things that are in our way?
Well, isn't a resolution a form of the word resolve? So what did you just say about keeping our commitments and releasing? So resolving some freaking issues we have, maybe?
Yes, maybe resolving and letting go of some issues of fear and ignorance and embracing adventure. I mean, what if my commitment for my resolution for 2010 is to embrace adventure? And that means anytime an opportunity shows up that feels like fear, in that moment, because of my 2010 commitment, I choose to let go of that fear and embrace the adventure.
Yeah.
And I just go for it. Both feet in, going full hog.
Right.
What would 2010 be like?
It would be joyful.
It'd be exciting. It'd be like going on a trip to the Middle East.
Yeah.
Moving to Switzerland. Could be like maybe writing a new book. Or moving to a whole new city or state.
It would be us truly living passionately
every day. Because if the opposite of fear and ignorance is adventure, passion, freedom, and joy, why would we choose to have another year experiencing fear and ignorance? You know, I deal with a lot of people. I coach a lot of people, and I work with businesses, and I coach businesses and their business strategies. And I'm amazed at how many businesses also live in fear and ignorance, and that they want to grow, but for the unknown that's out there, the cost, the price they have to pay to let go of their ignorance and their fear in order to embrace the adventure of growing as a business, it's too much for them. So another calendar year goes by, and they're the same size. Well, what they don't realize is by them staying the same size, they're smaller in comparison to everyone else who chose to move.
Right.
And they ultimately become obsolete in the market, and they fail within a couple years. And that's how relationships are. That's how we are as individuals and people. And how often do we see people who have to just take a complete catastrophic shift from point A and just lift up and go to point B? Because they're so far off the track of joy and adventure and passion in their life that it takes a catastrophic shift. Well, it doesn't have to be catastrophic. We could just do that every moment of every day. So in the idea of your adventure into Jordan, or our adventure to Switzerland, or any of our viewers or listeners' adventures in 2010, is there value for the world as a whole, for individuals to live this way?
Absolutely.
What would happen, just follow me here, what would happen if we as a people, as citizens of the world, chose to let go of our fear and ignorance about other cultures and embrace the adventure and passion of living together? Where would a war come from?
Absolutely.
Because don't wars in our lives, in our personal relationships, in our workplaces, in our nations, in our countries, in our worlds, doesn't that stem from ignorance and fear?
Absolutely.
So if I, as an individual, choose to let go of ignorance and fear and embrace the adventure of living together, of being united with this planet, and doing what it is, whatever is possible, like you said, just living it up and having it all, wouldn't this world be a completely different place?
It would. And I know that's what we're all kind of either secretly or half-heartedly striving for, but what are we truly willing to do?
Exactly.
Are we willing to put our butt on the line for real?
Pray for peace.
Yeah.
Pray for a change in this world, and only half-heartedly do anything different in their own lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like this New Year's resolution. What if the New Year's resolution was to embrace the adventure, passion, and joy, freedom of life? And just let go of that fear and ignorance. And then inspire that among your family and your friends and your coworkers. And what would that ripple effect be if all of a sudden we as a country let go of our ignorance and fear? Because there's a lot of it going around.
Mm-hmm.
This country, the madness of this country is fueled on ignorance and fear.
Yep.
And there is enough madness to go around. I think we can all agree on that. Okay, there is plenty of madness, and it is high time that we let go of that ignorance and fear and embrace the adventure, the passion, the freedom, the adventure of life. And so I, for one, I'm going to follow your lead, Melissa.
Okay.
I am going to take, for 2010, I am taking that challenge, the Melissa Barlow challenge. to maybe not go to Jordan, because that's not what my adventure looks like. But I get that there's more adventure for me in my life ahead. And I am absolutely committed to just embrace that passion and that freedom and that adventure of life. Because, I've spent enough of my life living in fear and ignorance. And I'm complete with that. I'm complete with whatever learning is possible from ignorance and fear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done learning from that. And now I'm ready to learn from adventure.
Okay.
And passion and freedom.
Let's go.
So thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking that challenge first and showing me that it's possible. Because I don't know that I would just up and say, yeah, I'll go to the Middle East. But I get that there is an adventure here,
mm-hmm.
and that there is a resolution for me to resolve the issues of fear and ignorance in my life and embrace that passion and that adventure. So thank you. That's it. That's what I want this show to be about. I want our listeners and our viewers to accept this challenge and take on the 2010 Talk is Cheap resolution. And I want to hear from people if you're willing to take on this resolution, if you're willing to take on this challenge, to live the adventure of life, to embrace the passion and the freedom and the adventure, and to just let go of your fear and ignorance and see what's different in your life in 2010 as a result of that.
Yep.
So do you issue the challenge with me?
I absolutely do.
Okay, so tell us on Facebook if you're going to accept this challenge, or on Twitter. That's Twitter, thejasonbeckett.com. Oh, no, not .com, just the Jason Beckett. Or on our website, talkischeapradio.com. Go to the show notes section for this show and tell us in the note or in the comments that you are taking our challenge. Because we want to know what's different in your life in 2010 as you take on this adventure.
Yep, because as you take it on, it will change immediately.
It changes everything.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
It changes everything. So that's the show. Take it on and let us know how it goes. We love to hear from you. So that's it. Talk is cheap. 2010 is the year of adventure.
Let's bring it.
All right. So we'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Talk is Cheap is a 16 Stone Media production. This show is hosted by Jason Beckett and co-host Melissa Barlow. All rights reserved. Copyright 2009.